What's been your toughest moment?
I think the toughest thing being a comedian is watching other comedians blow. Like Eddie blew up, oh shit, you know, and then you know, Martin. And so I'm like, okay, where's my thing? But then you see that they've touched all of the comic bases. I remember going in and reading for Russell Simmons for some comedy, and I was doing my thing, and he was going, oh, that's Eddie. Oh, that's Martin. That's Rock. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he was, no, I was just saying, you sound like Chris Rock, you sound like Eddie. So that was tough because I was like, damn, I don't have nowhere to go, right? And then like, you know, this cool thing where Oliver Stone opened up, it was, you know, this Any Given Sunday thing, which was more dramatic. And so I don't know if that's a tough thing, but it was just like, man, let me go get with him, and it was an incredible. It opened up a whole nother thing, and then the tough part was getting back to being funny.
Yeah,
because like you know, like the young folks, they see me like, oh, here's this dude using Django.
Right.
And now I'm doing jokes, and man, why Django being funny like that? Dog? So it's like,
funny,
it's now I have to try to get back to the movie process. It's a little bit different, if you know what I mean. It's like.
You mean in theatre?
No, just not even that. Just like when I was on Any Given Sunday, I remember Oliver Stone, when I first auditioned, was like, you're horrible when I auditioned. And I was like, what? Because I was a television actor. So everything I did was loud. Yeah, so you better understand this with the football in the air, man. And he was like, get the fuck out of here. And I remember
All of it can be tough.
Huh?
All of it can be tough.
No, but I learned from that toughness. Meaning like when he finally decided to, you know, make the decision for me to be the lead, he still would grill me. He said, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it.
When you played a real life character, when you're playing that role, how much do you have to be faithful to him? And how did you think differently?
The process of playing somebody real, you have to sort of not do the impersonation, because I'm like, you know, coming from like the In Living Color background, I learned not to do the impersonation. And then also not to, I didn't have a chance to see him actually alive, but I had to sort of like piece things together through what people would say. And then the first thing that helped me was aesthetically. We are part of the same tribe in a sense. Our cheekbones, the diamond-shaped head, that haircut that he had, I had that in the 80s as well. So aesthetically, we were ahead of the game. I didn't have a chance to see him actually alive, but I had to sort of like piece things together through what people would say. And then talking to Brian Stevenson and hearing him talk about
who's the real life attorney?
Who's the real life attorney
that the film's based on?
Who, you know, goes and meets this guy on death row and finds out all these horrible things, that he's on death row without a trial. They say he killed a white woman in the city that he'd never been in, and like, he couldn't believe that this existed. But he told me how Walter was. He felt like, you know, since I'm in this situation, I might as well do everything I can to help. So when you see in the movie, he's talking to all the prisoners and everything like that, trying to keep up their morale, these guys on death row. So I took that as the spirit of it. And then it was a matter of the vernacular, being in, you know, Alabama, and the way they talk like that, the way they say their things, and, you know, and to make that not be caricature. Like, I remember Michael B. Jordan, listen, now don't do that, because it started sounding like something where we really couldn't understand me. So we sort of dial that in. So sometimes you have to rely on the people that are around you to say what makes the most sense. That and real experience to draw upon. I mean, you know, my father came to one of the screenings, who, you know, he was educated for 25 years in the hood, in high school, and everything he dedicated his life to, saving black kids in the hood. They end up putting him in jail for $25 worth of illegal substance for 7 years.
Wow.
So here he is in jail with kids that he had taught.
Wow.
The very judge that he would bring into the school and say, hey, I want you to shake these kids up, tell them the repercussions of anything. That judge presided over his case, put him in jail. So when you have something like that, the person that taught you how to throw a football, the black man that taught you how to play tennis in Texas, when we weren't allowed to go to the the country club. I said, well, I got to learn tennis because you're going to know all of this. You're going to know how to swim, tennis, all of the stuff that they say we can't do, you do. And so that was a huge thing that I carried inside. I didn't share it with a lot of people because when my pops, I wrote him one letter because I was telling somebody I don't like to see people in jail. I wrote him one letter, you get out, I'll save your life. He came to live with me. When he went in, I wasn't who I was. When he comes out, and I got a chance to take him to the US Open and have him watch Venus play, you know, and, you know, watch the tears, you know, down it. So those types of things. Now, I was lucky enough to be able to have that moment, but in Walter McMillan's situation, you know, it works out, but it doesn't work out. It's still an entertaining movie, but you still sit with like, wow, Walter McMillan didn't have a chance, and there's a lot of Walter McMillans.
You shot in a real-life prison,
Yeah.
right? Because those prison scenes are phenomenal. They're really incredible. Did you think...
The one moment when the cuffs was being put on me and they had a guy who was part of the prison system who wasn't part of the movie, yeah, squeeze it tighter.
Oh, yeah.
Squeeze it tighter, because he's a bigger one. Squeeze it tighter. He doesn't know that he's saying something that is taking me to, like, I'll come out these cuffs. But that's his everyday life. So those moments when we were going into those prisons, that was, for a person who I don't do the jail. You know, there was a couple of times I'm like, hey man, don't squeeze them, they're tight enough. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't know that he's saying something that is taking me to, like, I'll come out these cuffs. But that's his everyday life. We become so used to it too, because we're talking to Brian Stevenson, talking about changing the perception, because the perception kills us. It's like, the reason I don't want to go see somebody in jail is because I don't want to get used to that. But so many people are just used to seeing their father, their brother, their mothers in jail. And the next thing you know, we start rapping about it. We should rap about being in jail, because we don't have any other thing. This is all we see. So it's a you know, it's a tough thing, you know.
Such a wonderful film.